Now, I would like to welcome Candice Lo to the stage with me. And Candice and I met in Hong Kong a few years ago. And when she was running Uber China and helping Uber China get set up around the world. So I know her story is a really fascinating one. And I wanted to bring this story to London because Candice is here now in London. So welcome, Candice.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see how we...
How's it going?
Yeah, and just, I think push at the bottom, right?
That better?
Okay.
Can't hear my own echo. There we go.
There we go.
It's really good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you again.
Welcome to
It's
London.
been a while, what, 2 years?
I know. Rebecca and I met back in Hong Kong. I was splitting my time, probably running around 20 cities all over China, and caught Rebecca in Hong Kong when she was launching her flagship event in Hong Kong,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, it's been good. How are you?
Good, good. Well, I know then you were racing around all over China setting Uber up. And you brought it into 65 cities in China. I mean, that must have been a phenomenal ride.
I mean, when we met, I don't think we even made that dent yet. I still probably were the first 5 people on the ground. Shanghai was really the only city that we were in when we first landed in 2013. The business was growing faster than we've ever really seen. And the business and the app and the technology, all of it was so different behind the firewall. Basically had to build from scratch. So partnering with the likes of Baidu, Alipay, really is what was game-changing for our business there as they grew, yeah.
Yeah, all the partnerships that were involved in setting up. And I imagine every city was different from the next one.
Extremely. I mean, we started off in Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen before going to Beijing. And that proceeded to be further expansion in central China, southwestern China, further up north beyond Beijing. And it was incredible. I still remember the day the CEO landed in China and told the team no more launches. And at that point, the full team was hired, ready to go, really ambitious goals of being in 100 cities. Pause on expansion, but definitely didn't pause on the night job. So day job, running all the businesses, scaling, hiring teams. And then the weekend job was really doing deep reconnaissance on what it means for us to really scale a business there. And
Wow.
A great adventure. I think a month later, the CEO came back and we sat him down, told him really need to be everywhere. It's an incredible market. Population sizes and all the cities we wanted to be in were 3+ million. Everyone had a smartphone. And really learning what it meant to work with Android devices in China and iOS and rescaling and retooling everything that we used. So that was 2.5, 3 years ago now. And
Well, it's amazing you survived that and look so well and have decided to pursue a new career as well.
Yeah. After Uber China emerged in 2016, I'd moved with Uber to London. And after a 1.5 years covering the EMEA region on the business side and the partnerships and corporate development side, I had met my partner, Ophelia Brown, while I was living here in London. And, we hung out, friends, social. Then I heard that she was starting a fund. And we sat down and spent some time together. And, I think for me, it was always team and the business. And that's really what took me all over the world, from the US to all over Asia, good chunk of it in China
Right.
before coming here. And spending time, I think, for the partnership as a whole collectively, really, really liking to spend time with founders. And that's when Blossom was born. And I left Uber to join Ophelia and my two other partners, Mike and Imran.
Okay. So was the merger with Didi, was that instrumental in your decision to leave Uber or to have anything to do with it at all? And what was the merger like with Didi? Everybody knows the story, right, of Uber in China and how Uber ended up being merged with the China rival, Didi.
So my experience was beyond expansion, recruiting. The team scaled to 800 people, 65 cities later, and summer of 2016, merged with the competitor Didi. And at that point, really kept us on our toes. It was hectic, it was a lot of fun. I think it really bonded the team more than anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if you think about legacy teams, you talk about the PayPal teams and the PayPal mafias.
Right.
I think Uber China really, really encapsulated that. And I think all the teams on the ground, no matter where we were, was just really friends and family. And we still keep in touch very, very closely.
I see.
Yeah.
So how many of them, what percentage stayed with Uber after the merger?
It's a good question.
Of the executive team?
I think almost everyone has left.
Yeah.
Much of the team has actually gone off into bike sharing. Split amongst OFO and Mobike.
I see.
Yeah. But many of the leaders have kind of joined the top tier tech businesses in China, from Total to VIP Kid to bike sharing to the
Sure.
Alibabas, Tencents.
Sure. So what do you, now that you brought up bike sharing, OFO and Mobike, what do you think of this whole bike sharing market in China? Is that going to, is it going to go through an experience like Uber did of super fast expansion and then maybe getting acquired? Or what do you think?
If the teams no fierce competition, it'd be those two. I think it's super interesting. They're a little early in, I think, global expansion. Definitely seeing a lot of them here in Europe and in
Yeah.
London.
Yeah.
I know the teams very well as well.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think, look, like I've worked with both of them. I'm not going to pick favorites. But I do think there's an interesting policy side of the business, which car hailing and motorized vehicles often face challenges. So I know that they're really, really looking to partner with governments and local governments
Right.
to expand.
Well, OFO is here in the UK.
Mobike is as well.
And Mobike too?
Yeah. Yeah,
How
I
many
see them
people
both
here
side
have
by side.
tried out OFO and Mobike? A few, okay. Good. Yeah, bike sharing is taking off in the US now too. So now, why did you actually decide to come to London after all those years in China? I mean, I guess I can't blame you. I mean, certainly health-wise, it's a great decision. But I mean, in terms of stimulation, mental stimulation, I mean, how did you make that transition? Because China is just like super on all the time. And
I find that even in my time in China, I saw so many companies and teams really looking to expand globally. And when I moved with the business here after the merger, it was very, 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 I spent most of my time in the Russias, Central Asias, Africas, and there's just such a strong connection to Chinese expanding beyond China and cross borders. I've also been just very impressed by the founders that I've met here. In not only the partnerships that I was doing while at Uber, but now that moving over to Blossom, have been really spending all my time traveling, covering all of Europe. For me, it's such a global world, and I think mobile technology, laptops, cell phones, everything's done on the go.
Sure.
I think that's been a great connector, no matter where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely it is. And now that you're a VC, what are the areas that are of interest to you?
Rather broad focus.
Okay.
We cover all of Europe, but I think where I spend a lot of my time, given my experiences, is marketplaces and infrastructure.
Okay.
But definitely not exclusive to that. I think if I
Okay.
think about the businesses that we've helped beyond Uber, our partners been very active in both the B2C, B2B space, and have worked with the likes of Facebook, Robinhood, and a lot of different sectors
Right.
across Europe and
Right.
the US.
Okay. So what are the skills that you learned at Uber China? What actually migrates over well from being an entrepreneur, an executive in a very fast-growing, emerging company and multinational company, and then jumping into VC? I mean, that's a pretty big leap, actually.
I think I've had a very unique experience. I worked for a technology business outside of San Francisco. And as I sit down with a lot of entrepreneurs and founders, they're often asking me, how do I grow from zero to vertical growth curves? How do we scale teams from nothing to creating an incredible bench of talent? How do I think about building a business that crosses borders, not just within a country? Europe's extremely diverse and complex, and how do they think beyond their current product and their current trajectory? How do we transcend borders? How do we think about challenges from a product standpoint and a differentiation standpoint? So I spent a lot of time with teams thinking through going global, taking businesses from zero to multi-billion-dollar businesses, and also what it means to match the teams against those ambitions.
Okay. So you mentioned in coming back to London that you're impressed with the founders that you've seen here. What is it that impresses you about the founders that you're seeing here and potentially investing in?
There's a real grit and attitude about being the best. I think when they have a very unique idea that's homegrown here, one, they want to stay and build here. They want to build from home and then go beyond. I also have been very, very impressed by their ambition. I think that a lot of folks have asked me, in spending time in the US and Asia here, how do I measure the level of drive and push and, where they want to take their businesses? And I just really think that the European founders that I've spent time with have trying to keep up.
Okay. All right, that's good. And in terms of the kinds of business sectors that you're seeing here that are promising from London, what do you think are some of the most promising sectors?
There's so much diversity. I think we've seen multi-billion-dollar businesses come out of Europe.
Yeah.
And I think early tech successes were in certain areas, but we've really seen crypto space become really very popular. AI, deep learning,
Yep.
Life sciences,
Yeah.
consumer products, fintech. So I think
Right.
there's so much diversity in what we've seen and the
Right.
unicorns that have come out of Europe.
Okay. And do you think that UK-based founders have a chance in China?
I will say that if any business with the ambitions of going into China,
Yeah.
I commend and support and really, really think is wonderful. I think, everyone asked why Uber went to China. And I think that there are not a lot of American or non-Chinese tech companies that really want to have a mainstay and a home. So for any European businesses that are looking to go, I'm all for it. I really think it's a great ambition.
And you think they have a chance?
Absolutely.
We have some people out here who are probably thinking about or who have already entered the China market. So,
I think if everyone's up for it, absolutely. I
Okay.
think if you want to be a part of an incredibly fast-growing, high adoption, mass market.
Right.
China's a wonderful place to grow business. The
And-
ecosystem's just super supportive. Like, the talent is incredible.
Yeah. So what's the best way to get started?
Going.
Just go. Go.
Seriously.
Go check it out. Yeah.
People always ask me whether
Yeah.
I should go. It's like, just go.
Yeah.
Just go spend time with entrepreneurs, with investors,
Yeah.
with what it means to build your business on the ground.
Sure.
Meet with people who have done it or are doing it. Spend time thinking about what it means to scale the business and what your ambitions within China are,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think everyone who wants to be there enjoys the speed, the hustle,
Sure.
kind of the fire in everyone's eyes.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, will you ever go back to China?
Absolutely. I try to go back as much as possible. My family's still there.
Oh, I
so,
see.
Yeah.
Okay, so you definitely need to do that then. Well, thanks, Thank you so much for being
Becca,
here.
it was
Really
really nice to
appreciate
see you
it.
again.
Welcome to London.
Thank you.
Candice is at Blossom Capital in case you want to say hi to her. She'll be around, and as you can see, she's interested in UK startups, and she has a China perspective. So you couldn't ask for somebody better to mingle with. So thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca.